So I've had this requested. I'll put it up on screen here. To do a sort of tutorial about how to line up different pieces from part to part on a specific car. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna do it a couple different ways. We're gonna do it using wireframe and just sort of roughing it out, because especially with these NCS22 models, there's not a whole lot of wireframe to go off of. There is obviously for the big main parts, but like if you had a section that, like, I don't know, just to ballpark it, that was like there, lining up to back here, it's hard to tell where that would line up. So that's what I'm here for. We're gonna learn how to do that today. This program called Car Viewer, that's super helpful. However, it's kind of annoying to download and export stuff to. So I'll show you guys an easy way to do it in Blender. Car Viewer works better, but it's just a lot of times not super easy to work with. So let me pull up our model here. You need the model. It's over on stuff. I'll leave a link in the description for this specific model. We'll just try this one. Yeah, okay. So this is just the base thing that I had saved. You're going to be in material view. You need this open. You need to export stuff. So we have this, right? And we're going to start with, say your design lines up with this specific little point here. Let's just make it there. Actually, layer, because layers, I don't really care about naming them, but say it lines up there. So you have that little design there. We can export it as, I don't know, test. I spelled that wrong. Who cares? And then pull this up, and we go to that, wherever that was. So I had exported it to, what did I export it to? No, masks. There we go. Okay. So now you see, now we have this, I hate this, the way he has it set up. There we go. Okay. So sort of lines up with this little thing here. So then what we do is we find out where that is. So that would be this little line here. And usually if you did the top, you'll be able to line it up with the top here. So even though it might look like a lot more, if you take off wireframe and export it, it looks a little bit off because I went below it. So if you have that sort of issue, alpha to selection, select, grow, then enter your grow size of this thing, so it's 1 pixel off, 1, and then just color this section here. That's also an easy way to make borders effect, but makes this for a certain thing look better. See? There we go. So we have that little piece lined up. And we're going to leave that as a way to do it. Now, we're going to show, so that works for anything really. So if you're doing this little thing here, say you wanted a separate color for that little rim, for the outside of the rims, you just take that and then put it here as well. Fun fact, it doesn't actually look very good though. But say you had, I don't know, a piece that went from here to here. Actually, we're gonna do this. Okay, so like that. And if you wanted to line it up with this thing, so we're gonna do another layer just for the heck of it. So we need to line it up with a piece here, and then with this piece here. And so the first thing I always do is I look for places where the wireframe might intercept it. Which it doesn't, looks like this is very close, but it's a little bit off. So I guess we're going to start with this one. So we're just going to start with like being a little bit off. Like that, maybe? A lot of it is guessing work, I will say, and I always like to turn off wireframe before I export. It's just easier to see where things are able to line up. So, and then now we just go with our little process of select, because you don't have to do this, you just want this selection. So you can grow 1, and I'm just going to click a bunch so that it And then that should be about good enough. And then figure out what parts. So we have one, so it's in between 1 and 2 from this little jet here, which lines up here. So 1's in between here somewhere, and it's closer to this side, so it goes something like this. And I'm not going to color the whole thing because I don't really feel like it. Export it, open her up. Now you see it's a little bit off, but this one looks good. This is when it gets annoying. So I'm actually going to grow 1, do that, and now, I'm not going to do that actually, we're going to do this, and figure out the other one later. So see now this is too much. So, now we need to dial it back a little bit, so just cut this in half, see what we can do with that. And sometimes it takes a second to export, and when it does that. Okay, so now we're just a little bit off. So now we cut this in half, there. Like I said, it's really just a guessing game with hoping that you get it right. So if you don't, it's annoying. That's why things have so many lines. Okay, so here, it's actually perfect, so we can just grow 1 and line them both up. Stupid exporting. Okay, there we go. See? Now we have something that looks-ish like a straight line. Now we gotta line it up here, we're just gonna make it go down. Keep it a straight line. So it's just in the middle of this, okay. Go like this, see how that looks. I just like to crank this up all the way. Things easier. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is we need to make this a bit more of a defined thing. Do it that way. Don't always have to turn wireframe on if you don't want to. This isn't gonna look particularly amazing, but it'll show you how to line stuff up. So we actually want to see, so we want to split this in half. If you want it to look much better, you can figure out where it lines up and then sort of line that up down to there. But that's what we're going to actually end up doing. So we're going to see, and you can do the same thing with the shrink. It's just select shrink 1, or select shrink however many pixels you want it to be. Totally up to you. And then a good way I like to do it is I like to make another layer underneath it and go with, I don't know, a red. And see how it lines up that way. Do another color that's not like the base color, it ends up just looking much better. Except for we're actually going to do this as well. So that sort of differentiates the car. Yeah, it's good enough. So, now we have that. We did a little bit of 3-piece here. Anytime you see this split up, it's going to involve some sort of lineup. So most annoying parts is these little hood, side, front piece. It's just is what it is, really. So I think that's about what we're going to get here out of this. Thank you guys for watching, and subscribe if you're new, and if you like it, let me know what tutorial I should do next. I have a little bit of free time coming up, so I'll be throwing in some new content if I can. Adios.